overseas, this time in Paris, France, at the Zenith Paris venue, the PFL Europe 3, and headlined by Cedric Doumbe getting the win over Jordan Zebo by knockout. The official time, 9 seconds. Just 9 seconds. You can watch the entire highlight of the whole fight in 9 seconds. It really was one single punch. Omar, why don't you start us off this time? Give us your take of this incredible PFL debut by Cedric Doumbe.
I mean, this was pretty much like Muay Thai 101. It was kind of wild. Who's the other guy? Jordan. What was his name? Zebo. Jordan Zebo throws a lead, what I'm assuming looked like a lead switch kick, and Doumbe catches it. He shelves it, and so a shelf is basically a shelf catch, I guess, is basically like when you defend one side with, you have one side kind of guarded up, and the other side, your other arm, comes below there so that the impact basically hits your side, and then you catch the heel, back of the ankle area with your other hand, and then you swing it across to sort of, do whatever the next move is. Could be a sweep, could be a kick, could be a punch, could be elbow, could be whatever you want. So it was a beautiful catch. It was a beautiful shelf. It was a beautiful passover. And then he drops the foot and throws a hook with the same hand. So he got real creative with that one. It was honestly super beautiful for the 9 seconds that it really was. So yeah. I was thoroughly entertained by the technique in that fight.
Dude. And Zebo was no slouch either. Both of these guys were coming in as undefeated prospects. Both of them 4-0. But Doumbe, the decorated kickboxer, really shined in his PFL debut, getting his probably fastest knockout of his career. Let's look. Yes, it is. All 5 of his wins have been knockouts, of course. This, of course, being the fastest. I wonder if this is the fastest knockout in PFL history. It just might be.
I feel like I heard someone say it was, but don't quote me on that.
If it is, it's hard to beat, man. You have to, can you think of an 8-second knockout in PFL history?
No,
I can't at the top of my head. Let's talk about what could be next.
Wait, can I talk about the fight?
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm the one that was fucking telling you guys about this man last week.
True.
Let me
That's
talk
true.
about him. How in the fuck did the UFC let this man go? He was signed to the UFC, and they let him go. This dude was a star from the second he came through the curtain until the second he went back into the curtain. He carried a damn mattress to the cage that said "Good Night, Jordan" on the mattress. The crowd is in the palm of his hand throughout the intros. Then Mark Goddard is calling this man to the center of the cage for face-offs. And he's like, nah, we're not going to do that right now, Mark Goddard. I'm going to get the crowd to do a fucking chant. So you guys just hang out there for a minute. Gets the whole crowd to chant while he's yelling Jordan and they're yelling "You're dead" like 3 or 4 times in a row. Then marches himself in for the face-off when he's good and ready for it. And then, since we haven't even got to the fight yet, goes ahead and wins that in 9 fucking seconds. Catches the kick, returns with a right low kick, then throws a left and a right. People aren't even realizing that a right lands as well on Zebo's way down. They both land perfectly. Nothing further is required. Just absolutely unreal in every single way. Like, I don't know yet how far Cedric Doumbe can take it in MMA, but you cannot possibly start and I know it's 5-0. It's not like it's the first MMA fight of his career, but it's the first mainstream fight of his career, and you cannot possibly start any better than what that entire package just was. If you didn't watch this thing, all in all, it's probably 15 minutes because of how long everything he talks for a while afterward, the chants in the beginning, everything. Go find it. It's up on YouTube for free from PFL.
What a stud, dude. So wait, explain this to me, because he was signed to the UFC but never fought, and they just let him go.
He was signed to the UFC. He was supposed to fight Darian Weeks in France. France nixed it, I think, a week before, maybe, or maybe even less, because they had a rule that said you cannot have more than a 10-fight disparity in professional MMA experience fighting each other. And I think at the time he was only like 2-0, and Weeks had at least 13 fights, I guess it was. So they wouldn't allow it. So then after it got nixed in some medical exam, they found that I forget exactly what it was. I want to say it was like bleeding in his brain. And when the UFC saw that, they just got out of the contract.
Yeah.
And then he got it cleared up, I guess, relatively quickly. Took a couple more MMA fights. Then the UFC came back to the table, but apparently the PFL blew them out of the water, according to Doumbe. I heard him on Ariel a while ago talking about it, and he was like, yeah, it wasn't even remotely close. So they blew it. They had him. They let him go.
Wow, imagine Doumbe fighting like the Ian Garys of the welterweight division in the UFC.
Dude, yeah. I mean, again, who knows if he's that good at MMA? Like, I'm not trying to say he's Ian Gary level good, but like maybe there's and star level wise, he's fucking ready to go. He's ready to be marketable right
Hell
now.
yeah,
I mean,
dude.
and I didn't even mention he has Mbappe there at the fight. He's fucking front row with his whole crew. He showed up just for the main event to watch Doumbe. Like, that's one of the biggest, international stars I've ever seen at a MMA event before.
That's true.
And it's at PFL Europe.
Dude, some people carry a pillow to the ring to like mean that their opponent's going to go to sleep. The mattress is just next level commitment to the bit. He committed to the bit.
I was listening to him on Ariel after, and Ariel's like, "Where'd you get the idea?" He's like, "Oh, I just thought about it like an hour before." He's like, "An hour before? Like, how'd you get the mattress?"
Where did you get a mattress?
And he's like, "What do you mean? I had one at my house." And he's like, "You brought the mattress from your own house?" He's like, "Yeah, I just brought it. I had some guy drawing it." I'm like, what the fuck?
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's hilarious. My God. Well, have we talked about what could be next for Doumbe promotionally inside the PFL? Or might they move him from PFL Europe over to the States and fight in one of their
for sure
seasons?
The PFL Europe was just so he could fight on the card in Paris. He was actually scheduled originally. I forget who he was supposed to fight. It might have been Jarrah Al-Sawali. I think that I always forget how to pronounce his name. I think that's it. I think it was him, and he pulled out. But that was on a regular PFL card, and it was in like Florida or Atlanta or something. And then they rebooked him on this card just so he could main event in Paris. But no, he'll be a regular guy. They asked him if he was going to go into the next tournament, and he was saying like, "Yeah, I'm interested in the tournament, but I kind of want to do big fights." And he threw out that he threw out a few names. He mentioned Masvidal. He mentioned Nate Diaz. Obviously, these guys have no association with the PFL at this point. But he also mentioned Anthony Pettis. And I think that's exactly where we should go.
Wow.
I don't think there's any reason to even wait. Of course, there's other, names who are doing better in the welterweight division, like Sadabusi and Magomed Karamov and Umalatov. But, like, we can wait on those guys and see if Doumbe gets to that level. We can put them aside for a moment. And I think right now you strike while the iron's hot, and I think the Pettis name carries more name value as a matchup for him anyway. So I think that's what you should be doing to make this guy a star right now. And I saw today, actually, that Pettis already responded and implied that he's down and actually said that he thinks it'd be the biggest fight in PFL history. So let's do it.
Yeah, dude, let's go. Omar, what do you think?
Those two would be fucking electric.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think stylistically, too, that matchup is guaranteed to be fireworks. The only thing that concerns me about it a little bit is that Pettis hasn't really been focusing on MMA, it seems, at least not according to the social media, and obviously the man doesn't share every aspect of his life with us, but it just seems like his focus has been boxing more than anything lately, and I just hope we don't run into that Conor effect where all of a sudden his stance is completely different. Pettis is not relying on his kicks the way that he used to, and we're not seeing the same Pettis going into a fight against a disgusting kickboxer. So I'm hoping if that fight happens, because I think a kickboxing Showtime Pettis is a very good fight against Cedric. So I just hope that that's the one that shows up and not not the boxer. That's all.
I did hear Pettis say recently that at least for now he's done doing the tournaments because he said it's just very hard and grueling to have to stay close to Wade and be in constant camp. And he said his schedule is just too busy to successfully do that at this point in his life. He said he's not necessarily ruling them out for good, but for right now he's looking to do super fights where he can really get into one camp and focus on it and then kind of return to his life. So this would seem to fit that bill to me.
I agree.
Show up, throw some good shit, walk out with a pocket full of cash.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's a great striking matchup.
And then give the cash to Mike.
And then give it to me. Give all of it to me for being his ring announcer.
Yes.
Cool, man.